للاستماع إلى راديو بلدي أول راديو عربي أمريكي ويعنى بقضايا العرب في المهجر. برامجنا في راديو بلدي كل يوم جمعة من 8 وحتى 9 صباحا مع ليلى الحسيني في بث حي ومباشر عبر WNZK راديو 690 AM. صباح الخير بلدي، صباح الخير لكل مستمعينا.
Welcome to Radio Baladi, the first Arab, Middle Eastern and American simulcast radio show. Radio Baladi is broadcast every Friday morning on WNZK 690 AM from 8 until 9 Eastern Time on Good Morning Michigan with Layla Al-Husseini. Our call-in number 248-557-3300. And now, stay tuned for the best radio talk show on Arab and American issues with your host, Layla Al-Husseini.
Good morning and thank you for being with us. This is the Local Connections with Khalil Hachem, editor via Michigan.com, the fastest growing digital business magazine in the Middle Eastern communities. We focus on small business. We focus on business news to make sure that you're informed and making a good decision. This show is brought to you in cooperation between US Arab Radio and YamMichigan.com. Our best wishes to the founder of US Arab Radio and President Layla Al-Husseini for giving us the opportunity to work with her on this great show. Great job in keeping this wonderful station going and our community informed. Today is Friday, October 30th, 2020. The weather is cold and the temperature is expected to reach 42. Today feels like winter, so make sure that you're dressed up well, you're warm, and take care of your pets and animals and plants. And part of trying to start getting into the winter mood is you have to prepare your home, you have to prepare your garden, your backyard, all of that. Make sure everything is taken care of and ready for the winter. We're going to have a segment next month on how to prepare your home for the winter, and we have some of these recommendations on our website, YAMichigan.com. It's very important to make sure your windows are sealed, your doors are sealed, that is tuned up. It's very important because if it's not tuned up correctly, it will be spewing carbon monoxide, which is deadly. So make sure, you have your carbon monoxide detector on. All of these things are very important to minimize damage to you and your family and your children and everybody else around you. So make sure that's taken care of. Tomorrow is Halloween. Happy Halloween to everyone. And, Halloween is a fun time for the children. And we want to make sure that Halloween is really safe. Normally we talk about safety on how you trade chocolate, take the kids, don't leave them alone. This year, it's even more so because of the pandemic. You want to minimize as much exchanging hands with other people as much as possible. It's very important to do that. There has been a lot of information on how you can practice Halloween. Here's what I'm going to do for my kids. We're not going to go door to door. Excuse me. We're going to get them some candy. We're going to put them on the car, and we're going to walk around or drive around so they can still get a flavor of come on, let's face it. What do kids like about Halloween? Dressing up and candy. So we're going to do both and then drive around so we can minimize, the personal contact there. So if you can, try to give them a little bit of taste of Halloween, but keep in mind that this is a mean, very infectious virus, and we need to be vigilant to make sure that, they're safe. At the end of the day, what good, celebrating Halloween if we're not safe, our kids are not safe, and so forth and so on. So it's very important to do that. We're going to be talking about election today. We have several guests going to join us. This is the election of the century, basically. This is a very important election. It's going to decide the direction of our country. Excuse me. 4 years ago, we took an unexpected turn, and it depends on your views and likings and your values or whatever it is. And we're not going to tell you who to vote for. That's not my job. I respect your decision. I respect the fact that, you select your own candidate. And I've never tried to force my opinions on anyone at all. We try to present the facts as much as possible. You may not like the facts, but at the end of the day, they are facts. And if we're wrong, let us know and we will correct it. If you don't like it, that's a different story. We respect your opinion and the difference in opinion. So the most important thing is that you need to vote, okay? This is the first time where we have one of the largest number of absentee ballots, which absentee ballots means you can vote before the election. There are about 100 million people who requested absentee ballots in this country. Nearly 75 million have voted. There's still 25 million ballots out there. So if you have one of those ballots, it's going to be too late to put it in the mail. What you need to do is fill it out, stop procrastinating, fill it out, and drop it off at the city. That's what I did. I filled it out, and I dropped off my ballot at the city, and it's very simple. I filled it out. I make sure you sign it. If your ballot is not signed, does not count. Make sure you sign it, okay, after you fill it out. If somebody is helping you, they need to sign as well. And you fill it out, you sign it, you seal it, and then you take it. And I drove by, there's a box, I put it on the box and walked away. I don't have to go and expose myself to anything on election day. And you know what? It seems like everything's going to be okay. There may be a larger turnout, but it seems to be okay. This is the first time that the Secretary of State, running this election. We hope that she knows what she's doing, and we hope it's going to be a good election. So this is. There's nothing more gratifying than participating in an election. So I can't really stress this enough. Please, you need to go out and vote. Okay? I don't care who you vote for. I don't care if you put just a blank sheet, as long as you say, I voted. Okay? Now, there are presidential elections, which takes a lot of the noise during these kind of elections. And then there are local elections. There are elections for Congress. They're very important. Okay? It's very important who you select. Okay? If you're happy with healthcare, if you're happy with other things, you can select the same people. If you're not happy, you can select other people. Make sure you know who you're selecting, who are going to take healthcare away from you, or who are going to give you healthcare, or keep what you have. So you need to be really careful. Also, there are local provisions as well. So in the local provisions, there are a couple important issues, depending on what county you live in. But there's one issue that's very important, and that's statewide, is whether that the police would need a warrant, would need a permission from a court, and I forgot the technical name. Anyway, yes, I think it's a warrant called. Anyway, to search your electronics. It's very important. So make sure that you understand what you're voting. If you want to protect your privacy, because today phone is not a phone. Phone is a computer. There's a lot of information on your phone. There's a lot of information on your iPad. There's a lot of information on your computer. There's your financial information. There is your history of chatting with people. There's a lot of information. And if you give police blank access to that, you may be getting into trouble. So now, if they have an order from the court, that's a different story. But if they don't have an order from the court, then they really shouldn't be looking into your personal stuff. Today, electronics is just like your home. Okay, so they need a warrant to come into your home, and they should have a warrant to really search your electronics. So make sure you understand what you're voting. And I'm not going to tell you how to vote. So it's up to you what that issue is important to you or not. There are other issues on the ballot depending on where you live, for money, for this, for that. So you need to understand that and vote. And then you have the judicial area. This is a nonpartisan area. A lot of people, they go either check in Democrats or Republicans, and they think they're done. They're not done. There's a nonpartisan area. Okay, just because these judges are nonpartisan in the election does not mean they are nonpartisan. Okay, that means you need to search, make sure. Okay, do these people represent my philosophy before voting for them and put them on the Supreme Court, put them on the other courts? Because these people are going to interpret the law. They're going to tell us what the law means. It's very important to do that. You need to take the time to do that and make sure we're electing the right people to the right post, even though they're nonpartisan. We're going to continue talking about that. We're going to take a short break, and please stay tuned.
انتخب يوم 3 نوفمبر من أجل صوت عربي مسموع.
انتخب المرشحين الذين تدعمهم إمباك: جو بايدن للرئاسة، جاري بيتر لمجلس الشيوخ، وديفيد إنجل لمجلس النواب.
وللمجلس التربوي في ديربون: عادل معزب، نفيل حيدر، خضر فرحات، ومعالي لقمان.
للاطلاع على بقية المرشحين المدعومين من إمباك تفضلوا بزيارة impacmi.org.
صوتنا قوتنا، مستقبلنا، ويصنع الفارق. انتخب من أجل حماية الديمقراطية.
هذا الإعلان مدفوع من قبل اللجنة العربية والإسلامية للعمل السياسي إمباك.
Ziyad brand. Quality products from our family to yours. Ziyad Brothers Importing offers the finest quality products, including brands like Sultan, Kraft, Nestle, Hook, Rico Picon, Dana, and many more. Ask your retailer to carry these fine products because you deserve the very best. For more information, visit our website at www.ziyad.com. That's www.ziyad.com. Ziyad, quality products from our family to yours.
At Top Rehab Physical Therapy Clinic in Dearborn, we provide effective physical therapy sessions in order to limit pain and discomfort. Top Rehab provides physical therapy care for any diagnosis prescribed by a physician, and we regularly see and treat conditions such as stroke, TMJ, fibromyalgia, sciatica, joint pain, and more. We use a variety of pain management methods, including modalities, soft tissue mobilization, and therapeutic exercise. If you're in need of physical rehabilitation or physical therapy, get the highest quality health care at Top Rehab. Most insurance is accepted, and we're open Monday, Wednesday, and Friday 8 to 6, Tuesday and Thursday 8 to 5, and Saturday 10 till 2. Call for an appointment today at 313-846-0555. That's 313-846-0555. Choose Top Rehab Physical Therapy Clinic on Michigan Avenue in Dearborn. Life's too short to... Get ready for an amazing experience at Ishtar Restaurant on 15 Mile Road in Sterling Heights. Enjoy excellent hospitality from owners Ali Al-Baghdadi and Fatty Bottom, serving the best in Mediterranean food. Try Chef Ali Al-Baghdadi's famous shawarma, the best Iraqi grills and food, and the best Arabic and international dishes. Dine in our authentic atmosphere or take out. Call 586-698-2585 or check us out on Facebook. Ishtar Restaurant practices all CDC guidelines and is open every day 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Have an amazing experience today at Ishtar Restaurant, 3625 15 Mile Road, Sterling Heights.
Thank you for being with us. This is Khalil Hachem, and we're talking about the election. And it's something that there are a lot of things you need to know about the election. One of the things that you need to know is your rights. And with us this morning is Rana Elmir, ACLU Michigan Deputy Director, and she will try to help us understanding our rights. Good morning, Rana.
For having me.
Yes. Thank you so much for taking the time to be with us.
Of course, wouldn't miss it.
Okay. For some reason, we're experiencing a delay on your call. I hope that we won't miss any of the information. As you well know, this is a very important election. It's going to be a busy election. And then in 5 minutes, what do we need to know as voters, and what are our rights?
That is a tall order, but I will try to do my best. First of all, I think,
thank you so much.
Of course, everybody needs to know that this is a historic election. I am so incredibly excited because if you recall, in 2018, voters were sick and tired of the dinosaur of a voting system we have here in Michigan, and they voted to modernize our system and, in fact, put these rights right into our Constitution so that right now anyone can vote early through a drop box by dropping off their absentee ballot in a drop box, or they can vote at their clerk's office in person early. They can even register to vote today and every day up until and on the election. So it's not too late to register if you haven't. And so far, more than 3 million eligible voters in Michigan have requested absentee ballots, and more than 2.5 million have already voted early. This did not happen by accident. This is an effort by voters who are enthusiastic about voting, enthusiastic about this election. It's really incredible. And, it's important to say that on Election Day, if you choose to vote early, you still can. And, in fact, your clerk's office is required to be open for extended hours this weekend. So you still have a chance to vote early today, you have a chance to vote early this weekend, and you have a chance to vote early on Monday. But if you choose to vote on Election Day, your polls will open at 7 a.m. until 8 p.m. And if you're there by 8 p.m. and there's a line, you can still vote. Just stay in line the whole time, and you'll be able to vote. The other thing that's really important to know, if you are blind, if you have a disability, if you are not an English speaker and you need a translator, or you can't read and write, you can bring someone in to assist you as long as they're not your boss or your involved in your union. You can bring in your child, you can bring in your brother, sister to come in and assist you with that ballot. The other thing that's really important to note is your ballot has a nonpartisan section. Meaning, if you, at the top of the ballot, it says you can vote straight ticket, Republican straight ticket, Democrat, or any other party, right? But that only works for the partisan section of the ballot: president, senator, your local house, your prosecutor. But for judges, those are nonpartisan. That's a nonpartisan part of your ballot, and you want to make sure to vote the entire ballot, including the nonpartisan ballot. The other thing to remember is if you do have a disability, you have the right to access a voting machine that is accessible to you, or send someone into the polling place to request curbside voting on your behalf. That's really important. We're in the middle of a pandemic. Some people might not be feeling well. They might not want to risk going into a polling place because they have some symptoms. They can actually ask to vote curbside instead of going into the polling place. That's really important to know. And I think finally I'll say, right now, if you have not registered, you can go to your clerk's office today, register, get your ballot, fill out your ballot, and turn it in all in one day. That has never happened in Michigan before. We've never had that right before, and it's incredible.
Is there anything else that is very important, since we're running out of time? Is there anything else that's very important people need to know?
Yep, two things I'll tell you. If you vote early by absentee ballot and you want to track your ballot, or you want to know where your polling location is, or your clerk's office — I talked a lot about the clerk's office — you can go to the Secretary of State's website at mi.gov/vote. Track your ballot, learn where your polling place is, learn where your clerk's office is. There's phone numbers there if you need to call folks to better understand your ballot. And, of course, if on Election Day you are having any sort of problems, you're being turned away from the polls, or you are there's voter intimidation, or you feel you've been unfairly treated, we ask you to call the Election Protection Hotline. This is a nonpartisan hotline that we at the ACLU, as well as many, many other organizations, are helping to take calls. And that phone number is 866-OUR-VOTE. That's 866-687-8683. And then the last thing I'll say, because there's a lot of talk about this, is you do not need ID. You do not need to show your driver's license or state ID to vote in Michigan. If you have it with you, it might speed things up to show it, but if you don't have it, all you have to do is sign a form that says you are who you say you are. It's an affidavit, and you'll be able to vote. Unfortunately, not everybody knows this, and they may be turned away, but we want voters to know their rights and be able to assert those rights on Election Day.
Wonderful. Rana, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to be with us. These are valuable information. If we need to add this to our online, where do we find them on your website?
If you go to michiganvoting.org, that is a website that we at the ACLU and our partners have put together with all of your rights.
Sounds good. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Khalil. Take care.
Absolutely. Bye now. We are joining by Dr. Sheikh Mehdi Hazari. Good morning. This is a historic election. There's a lot involved. What is the responsibility of a Muslim voter?
Yes, so Islam's view is very clear about this, that if the citizen, a Muslim citizen, any citizen, has been given the right to participate, to share their voice, their opinion, particularly when there is a moral imperative, when there is an imperative that's based in justice and equity for people, then Islam advocates that people should go out and vote and exercise your voice. And the reason for that is because you don't want to sit it out and not participate and have someone else make a decision for society on your behalf. And not only on your behalf, but on the behalf of your children. Because indeed what we do now, what we do today in our society, certainly affect our children and the generations to come 20, 30, 40 years from now. So certainly the view of Islam is to participate, is to share your voice, exercise your responsibility, but to do so in a manner that is responsible as a Muslim, to uphold Islamic values and to serve the interests of Muslims, which when you think about it are the interests of citizens across the country: equity, justice, fairness, rights for everybody, tolerance, compassion, all of these qualities.
Absolutely. Have you been getting any calls from individuals asking if it's okay to participate or not?
Yes, there have been not only lots of calls about whether to participate or not, and the answer to that is always yes, go and vote. But two other matters that are important. One, you should do your research. So don't just go and vote by following the crowd or because of some nebulous amount of information that you've received from somewhere. Go and research. Find out who the trustworthy candidates are, those who are honest, who are moral. Go look for that information. And if you don't know, find an expert who can point you in the direction of who is the right candidate or which way to vote so you can be an informed voter. Number two, the question that comes up often is, what do I do if my morality or my viewpoints about life, particularly as a Muslim, don't line up exactly with a party or with a candidate, or that the candidate advocates for something I don't agree with? Well, in the case of Islam, it's your responsibility to exercise your right to vote. When you vote that person into office, it's not your job or your responsibility as a Muslim, as a citizen, to ensure or to sort of guarantee that they're going to live by a standard that you hold to yourself. Your job is to exercise your right. When they get into office is a responsibility upon them. So certainly Muslims should vote, they should find the right candidates, and they should do recognizing the fact that we need to build coalitions as Muslims in this country, and groups need to come together for common goals.
Absolutely. Excellent point. Is there anything else I haven't asked you that people need to know from now till Tuesday?
No, I would just encourage to go out and vote. And not only vote, but I will say this, Brother Khalil, that know who your representatives are. Who is the congressman or congresswoman in your district? Who is your senator? Know how to reach those people, because it's not just about voting, it's about being connected to your government, connected to the people who represent you as the voice of this country. Go out, be informed, and be engaged. And don't hesitate to share your voice. I would say that that's very important.
As always, we're honored to have you, and thank you so much for taking the time to be with us. We really appreciate it.
It's my honor. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. We're going to take a short break. Please stay tuned.
Are you going to start a restaurant or grocery store soon? Do you need floor plans and designs? Call Naji Abood at 734-744-9796. Do you want to buy kitchen and restaurant equipment at discount prices? Call Naji Abood now, 734-744-9796. New Concept Products and Design, the trademark of kitchen equipment. 5% discount on all purchases of $75,000 or more. New Concept Products and Design. New location, 31185 Schoolcraft in Livonia. Learn more at www.newconceptproducts.com. Call Najee Abood, 734-744-9796.
إلي ساعة عم بستناك مشان نروح نتغدى بالشام.
الشام؟
ايه بالشام ومو بالشام.
شلون صارت هي؟
بدل ما نروح نتغدى بالشام
ايه
جابوا لنا الأكلات الشامية الطيبة لعنا لهم.
وشلون بقى؟
هذا مطعم دماس عم يعمل كل الأكلات الشامية الطيبة هو.
وطيبة؟
طيبة كتير.
شرفوا نتغدى سوا بمطعم دماس.
الأكل الشامي الأصيل فقط بدماس كوزين. زوروهم على 28841 أورشد ليك بفارمينغتون هيلز، ولطلباتكم اتصلوا على 248-987-4609. That's 248-987-4609. دماس كوزين and catering، جبنا لكم الشام لعندكم.
When it comes to reproductive medicine, IVF Michigan Fertility Centers are the recognized leaders. With locations in Bloomfield Hills and 5 other cities in Michigan and Ohio, IVF has experts in all aspects of the field. As a founding member of IVF Michigan Fertility Centers, Dr. Nicholas Shama is one of the leading reproductive endocrinologists in Michigan and Ohio. Dr. Shama has performed over 10,000 IVF cases and has helped thousands of couples fulfill their dreams of parenthood. American board certified in both obstetrics and gynecology and reproductive endocrinology and infertility, Dr. Nicholas Shama is a very caring, compassionate, expert physician that understands not only the medical but also the emotional toil of infertility on his patients. When it's time, get personalized care from Dr. Nicholas Shama at IVF Michigan Fertility Centers in Michigan and Ohio. Call toll-free 855-952-9600, 855-952-9600.
Welcome back and thank you for being with us. This is Khalil Hachem with Michigan.com. As you've heard from Rana and Dr. Hazari, and we've been saying it all along, how important it is for you to participate, how important it is for you to vote, how important it is for you to understand who you're voting for, and what are the other issues on the ballot. And again, I said that at the beginning of the program. I'm going to repeat that again. It is very important to understand what other issues on the ballot. It's very important to know who you're voting for in the nonpartisan, specifically in the nonpartisan section. These are the judges. These are the school board. These are, things like that. School boards, although it's not they do say whether Democrats and Republicans, but the school boards is very important because these are the people who make decisions for the education of your children. These are the people who, make it very, all over the small elections, and comparing to the presidential elections, but these are the offices that impact you the most. Other area would be the area of issues on the ballot, such as I mentioned before, whether the police has the power to search your electronics, whether certain millages that needs to be renewed. This is money out of your pocket. So you need to know that it is spent correctly. You need to know that, that it is what it is and it makes sense to you. If you don't understand, as Dr. Hazari mentioned, if you don't understand, try to find out, ask somebody. Try to find out, call the city, call somebody, try to Google it, try to find out, what is this about? How does this impact me? How does this affect me? So it's very important for you when you go to the poll or when you're filling out that ballot to really understand what's going on. And it's a big responsibility. It's a civic responsibility for us to really know how we're voting and who we're selecting. And these are the people who represent us. These are the people who are going to make decisions for us. We are hiring them to do a job. You're the boss. They're not the boss. Okay, their photo may be splashing on the screen and on billboards and so forth and so on, but you're the boss. You're the one that's going to hire them, and you're the one who can fire them. So you also need to know how important that is. So, it's I just can't stress enough the importance of the voting and the importance of what we need to do to really make sure that we're selecting the right people, the right representatives to represent us for maybe 4 years, for 2 years, for 3 years, whatever the term is. Again, you have school boards, you have judges, you get in trouble, where are you going to go? Go to court. If you don't have the right judge in there, guess what? You're in trouble, okay? And then you have the issues on the ballot. Then you have the representatives. We have state representatives, and we have national representatives, such as in Congress, such as, some of the representatives in the area for Congress, these races have been decided, and other areas have not been decided. And I understand that we reach, US Arab Radio reaches 9 states, millions and millions of listeners, and I'm sure including Washington, D.C. And I'm sure that, a lot of people are listening. This show is not really indigenous to Michigan. So it's anywhere, and then we also reach overseas as well, although there are no elections overseas. But for our purpose of today's show, today's show is the fact that you need to really understand what you're doing and need to understand who you're selecting. This is not a small thing. You're selecting someone who is going to represent you for several years to come, who's going to make a decision on your behalf, and who is going to really make a difference in your life. It's something very, very, very important. So, Mike, is Jerry back on?
No, he's not.
Okay. If he comes back on, let me know, please.
Will do.
Okay, thank you. Jerry, thank you. I'm sorry we couldn't take your call earlier. And if anybody has a call, has a question, has a comment, please let us know. We'll be more than happy to take your call and address it if on air. So again, it's the issue of election I'm passionate about, because a lot of people ask me often, about this policy and that policy, and then the first thing I say is, did you vote? And if they say no, I say, okay, you know what, you can't complain. Okay, good morning, Jerry.
Good morning, Mr. Khalil Hachem. Good morning, Mr. Khalil.
How are you?
Thank you for taking my call. Fine, how are you?
Absolutely. Hurry up, Jerry. We don't have a lot of time.
Khalil, what I try to say about election is very important, and every vote is counted. My advice over here, and I talk to the Middle Eastern community, all of them throughout Greater Detroit and United States, please support your MEA candidates. The MEA, the Middle Eastern American, let's support them in Dearborn Heights, in Sterling Heights, in Warren. They are very important, the local election, Mr. Khalil. I know the presidential, it's fine to vote for the president you want. That's not a problem. But our representatives, we want to see Middle Eastern in Congress, in state senate, in commissioner, in police force, in the city council. So this is my participate to advise everybody to vote and support your Middle Eastern, Arab, Chaldean, Assyrian, Kurdish, Turkmen, Yazidi. Let's vote to prove we are American citizens. We are a part of this great country. Thank you, Mr. Khalil. God bless you. God bless America.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jerry. Jerry brings a very good point. We need to make sure we are represented, and we need to make sure that our voice is heard. And the best way to do that is to field, and this is very important. We're not going to vote for somebody from the Middle East just because they're from the Middle East. We want to make sure that they are good candidates too. So I believe in something called community by design, and community by design is in which we plan, we do the right thing, we try to make sure that we're doing it correctly. Here's an example. It's not just enough to put somebody's name, somebody's name on a ballot, and then just because he or she are Middle Easterns, then we just going to vote for them. That's not enough. What's enough is we need the right candidate. I think Chief Haddad just joined us. Good morning, Chief. Hello, is Chief Haddad with us?
Yeah. Yep. Good morning. Sorry I was late, but
good morning. Thank you so much for taking the time to be with us, and we really appreciate it. These must be busy days for you. This is a historic election, and there's a lot of questions about safety. And I asked you kindly to just, let us know and help us with little information about safety on election day.
Yeah, it's definitely a historic election. Before I get into the safety, let me suggest that anybody that can vote early and turn in a ballot should do that, because it'll alleviate waiting at the polls. But I can also tell you that here in Dearborn, we've coordinated with the mayor's office, and every city department is going to lend to the success of the elections here in Dearborn. Our police department will have dedicated people, officers, to be at every polling place to ensure that the traffic, both pedestrian and vehicular, is orderly, and will have very little to do with any part of the election itself. But we have a layered approach. We've also worked with our regional partners in the event that mutual aid is required here or in other cities. We stand prepared to help one another as well.
Wonderful. So as far as the day itself, what do we need to know, safety-wise?
Safety-wise, I would just say, obviously dress for the weather. Don't be in a big hurry. There's rules that for first-time voters, you can't take signs or literature into the a polling place. You can take a list of names and just, be as orderly and calm and give yourself plenty of time. I remember many presidential elections where people were in line till 8:30 or 9, sometimes in Detroit longer than that, and people just were very calm and dedicated to a peaceful process, and I trust it'll be the same this year.
Wonderful. Is there anything I haven't asked you, Chief, that's important for people to know as far as safety?
No, I think we've covered it, but again, I would remind people that if they have a chance to turn in their ballots early, that makes it easier for everyone, because the system has been put in place for them.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. As always, you've been a lot of help, and I really, really appreciate you taking the time to be with us.
All right. Good luck and have a great weekend, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back, and we're going to be talking to Al-Hanooti.
Kushat's Mediterranean Market and Shish Kebab offers a great array of your favorite Mediterranean meals. Meals range from lamb specialties, shawarma sandwiches, seafood dinners, and they offer special big trays of your favorite food, plus much more. Kushat's Mediterranean Market and Shish Kebab address is 32839 Northwestern Highway in Farmington Hills. Their phone number is 248-538-9552. That number again is 248-538-9552, and the supermarket is open from 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. Kushat's Mediterranean Market and Shish Kebab will definitely leave you satisfied.
Are you going to start a restaurant or grocery store soon? Do you need floor plans and designs? Call Naji Abood at 734-744-9796. Do you want to buy kitchen and restaurant equipment at discount prices? Call Naji Abood now, 734-744-9796. New Concept Products and Design, the trademark of kitchen equipment. 5% discount on all purchases of $75,000 or more. New Concept Products and Design, new location, 31185 Schoolcraft in Livonia. Learn more at www.newconceptproducts.com. Call Naji Abood, 734-744-9796.
Life is a nonprofit charity that's provided humanitarian aid and development to people and communities for over 25 years, regardless of race, color, religion, or cultural background. When disaster occurs here or around the world, Life for Relief and Development rushes in to provide food, medical aid, and shelter to those in need. Please help improve these efforts. Make your tax-deductible donation to Life now at lifeusa.org or call 248-424-7493.
Welcome back, and thank you for being with us. We've been talking about the elections, and, as you well know, these are historic elections. This is a historic election, and it's just one of the most important in recent memory, at least in my memory, of being in this country. And now our community seems to be energized, and we're going to be talking to members of the community in regard to how energized we are in this community when it comes to this election. And with us this morning is Nada Al-Hanooti, Executive Director of Michigan Emgage USA. Good morning, Nada.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely, absolutely. How energized are we?
Right now, we're voting for our lives. So there was actually ISP released data yesterday, and they showed that in 2016, 60% of Muslims nationwide were registered voters. Now that number has increased to 78%. Right now, politics hit home to us. Here in Dearborn, we have experienced the consequences of the Muslim ban. We have experienced the police brutality of Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter is a Muslim issue. We have our largest population of Muslims in the country are African Americans. So we're literally voting for our lives. So our Muslim community are going to be heading to the polls in large numbers this year.
Wonderful, wonderful. And do we expect, what kind of efforts did we do to prepare to this? I know you guys have been very busy.
Yes. So with Emgage, we've actually been pairing C3 and C4 efforts. We're a 501c3, and we have a C4 Emgage Action. In our Emgage Action, we've been running our persuasion campaign since August 31st. We've been churning out people to go vote for Biden, and for the C3 campaign, we've been giving voters their resources, links to absentee ballots, links to their polling location, and we're also encouraging everyone, once you vote, please look up to see if your ballot has been processed. Mine took a week to process, and I had to go down to my city clerk to make sure, and I put it in the Dropbox. So, there's an unprecedented number of ballots going in this year. So I urge everyone to make sure yours has been processed, even though he dropped it off at the Dropbox.
Sure. If somebody wants to help you guys, what can they do?
Yes, we have phone bank set up. We have text bank set up. We are not canvassing this year because Michigan has a large number of COVID cases. So I have, alhamdulillah, I have 19 organizers, all from 16 to 27-year-olds, and we have volunteers coming in every single day, making calls for us, and making text messages for us. And you have an option of doing the nonpartisan 501c3 work, or you have the option of volunteering for our persuasion 501c4 for Biden as well.
Wonderful. Is there anything I haven't asked you that is important for people to know?
Yeah, I want everyone to know that, Hillary lost Michigan by 10,700 votes in 2016. Michigan right now has 270,000 registered Muslim voters. And with Michigan being a battleground state, we can be the deciding factor of this election and the decisions in 2020. So go out to vote, use your voice, and, I want to tell all, people outside of our community, do not take, Muslims are going out to vote, and do not take us for granted, because we are going to make a difference this year with our voice.
Wonderful. If anybody needs to reach you, how they can reach you?
They can reach me. They can reach me at Al-Hanooti at mgageusa.org.
Wonderful. Nada, thank you so much for taking the time to be with us. We really appreciate your time. Good luck to you. You guys do a great job.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Amr, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning to you. Amr Zahar is our decorated comedian and legal analyst, and I want to thank you for being with us. I listened to your video, and I I thought it was a great analogy. Could you tell us a little bit more about it?
Well, sure. I mean, I made, as you might know, I was a big Bernie Sanders supporter. I was a surrogate for his campaign. I campaigned around the country for him. And, a lot of the Arab American community got very excited for him, especially because he spoke, directly to a lot of our core issues, especially on foreign policy and especially on Palestine. And we ended up having a big turnout for him in March, and 85% of our people voted for Bernie Sanders. And what we've seen, and maybe it's partly because of the pandemic, but I think a lot of it revolves around policy, is now we've seen that there is really not that level of enthusiasm for Joe Biden, and a lot of it is because we're familiar with a lot of his policies, especially foreign policies, that we don't really like. And so, but, the other choice is Donald Trump, who's obviously a complete disaster. So I was trying to figure out a way of getting myself to vote for Joe Biden, and I came up with this idea that, I also did go to law school, and I studied Islamic law in law school, and I've taught about it, and, as we all know, and, that pork is prohibited. You're not allowed to eat pork in Islam. But there is one rule, which I think most people know, which is that in cases of extreme hunger and without any sort of desire for it, and you can't do excess of it, but just in order to survive, you are allowed to eat pork if it's the only thing available in order to survive.
If your life depended on it.
Yeah, if your life depends on it, and it's got to be very temporary, and you can't like it. That's very important, too. You can't enjoy it.
Yeah.
You're allowed to do it. And I said, okay, that's the only way I can sort of bring myself to do this. So, Trump is the extreme hunger, and Biden is the pork. And so, let's do it. But that also means, and we have to be just to be a little more serious about it, that means that, you take that 10, 15 minutes to vote for Joe Biden, totally understanding that he might quench your extreme hunger at that point. But just like ham, once the extreme hunger is gone, the prohibition is back in effect. So you have to you have to say to yourself, okay, I'm going to do this in this moment, but I'm still going to have to fight for a lot of the values and policies and goals that I want from this new Biden administration if he wins, because he's not going to be, sure, he's better than Trump. Okay, fine. But Trump is not the baseline for which we set our sort of values and what we're willing to accept. They're much higher than that. And we have to make sure that we push Biden to be good on the policies we care about, especially, when it comes to Palestine, he has a history of being just a disaster, a real disaster. So we're going to have to push him if he wins. So we can't fall into the trap of sort of celebrating and joining in the parade and, oh my God, we beat Trump. And we're going to have a lot of work ahead of us to make sure that and lastly, I'll say, I think that's the only way to really engage the Arab American community in this election. Okay, yes, Trump is bad, but you have to be honest with people, and you have to say, look, we get it. Biden is not exciting you. He doesn't have really great policies. But we have this immediate problem of this immediate hunger that we have to get rid of. So let's get rid of Trump. Let's eat the pork for a second, and then let's get back to fighting for our values. Arab Americans actually respond to that. I've gotten a lot of good responses from people saying, you know what, I wasn't going to vote for Biden, but I'll do it for this reason, just to get rid of Trump.
Yeah. What is the turnoff with Trump?
What's the turnoff?
Yeah.
Well, he's just openly, first of all, we were some of the first targets of his campaign, right? In 2015, Islam hates us. And then again in 2015, complete and total shutdown of Muslims. And then when he became president, he actually did it. It was if you remember, it's one of the first things he did. One week after he got inaugurated, he did the Muslim ban. And then, of course, you have foreign policy. Now, some Arabs, we care about foreign policy very strongly. Now, some Arabs say, well, he didn't intervene as much in the Arab world, and that's a good thing. And there's a good argument for that. But then you have sort of the blind support for Saudi Arabia, which has led to much more death and starvation in Yemen. You have the ridiculously right-wing support for Israel because he's trying to please evangelicals who think Jesus is from Texas, and so he is. we are dealing with that, and so the moving of the embassy to Jerusalem, sort of letting the Israelis do whatever they want to do in the West Bank, supporting this deal of the century, which basically, entrenches annexation of the West Bank. So, he's been really, really terrible on the Palestine situation. And so these kinds of things really rub people the wrong way. And then of just overall mishandling the pandemic, being a racist, enabling white supremacists, all this kind of stuff. So, he's got to go. He's got to go. And I think a lot of people understand. But I'll tell you what, I think there's...
We don't want to forget him trying to deport a good number of our Chaldean members as well. That was a huge thing at the time also.
Yeah, but you might know better than me because you do this radio show. I'm not sure that that's had a major effect in that community regarding their support for him, and he seems to still have strong support in the Chaldean community. Yeah, and that's kind of shocking to me.
Yeah, it is shocking. The first people to really get affected adversely by his election was the Chaldean community, but there seems to be a great support for him in there. But who do you think is going to win?
Look, all indications are that Biden is going to win. But I'll tell you what, the interesting thing from a legal point of view is that this election is going to be unlike any other because of the pandemic, right? We're going to have probably, you could have up to 60 to 70% of the vote is early vote and mail-in vote. And that is unprecedented. I'm going to go vote on Tuesday, and I imagine it's going to be the easiest voting experience I've ever had in my life because there's not going to be that many people at the polls. And so what that means is we're going to get, Khalil, the way we run this country is so weird, and we've seen it with the pandemic, is that because of the concepts of, without becoming too much of a law school nerd, but because of the concepts of federalism and the way their states operate, we really have like sort of 50 different sort of mini countries in America, and they each sort of run their own thing, and the federal government does certain things. And that's the case with elections. And so every state runs their own election. And that means you have different rules from different states. So some states are allowing mail-in ballots to arrive 3 days after, some states 5 days after, some states the day of. A federal judge just decided that in Minnesota, you have to have your ballot in by election day, even if it's a mail-in ballot. So even if a mail-in ballot arrives on November 4th, it's no good, even if it's postmarked before November 4th. And so all these different things. In Michigan, you are allowed to postmark your ballot on by November 3rd, and the state can receive it up to Friday, November 6th. But what does that mean? Does that mean the Secretary of State is going to start releasing the election day results that she gets immediately on Tuesday, and then all the other mail-in results sort of over the next few days? If that's the case, it's going to first probably look like Trump won Michigan, because election day voters are going to be heavily Trump. And then he's going to sue, and it's just going to be a circus. And so I think that's going to happen in many states, and especially in a state like Michigan, which could be close and could be a swing state. So I'm actually looking forward not looking forward, but I'm looking towards, maybe a week or two of uncertainty as to who has won the election, unless Biden wins really big. And that is going to be something that is going to be, you're a young man like me, but we're both old enough to remember Florida in 2000. I think
absolutely.
We could have I think we could have a much bigger circus than Florida in 2000.
Absolutely. Well, Amir, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to be with us this morning, and it's going to be very interesting, and we'll just stay tuned to that.
Listen, Khalil, I'm a comedian. I picked this job on purpose not to wake up at 8 o'clock on any day, especially a Friday morning. So I do this for you, my brother. Thank you for everything you do for our community.
I appreciate it. You have no idea how much I appreciate it.
Thanks, brother.
Thank you, sir. Okay, bye now. Again, I want to thank everyone that's been on the show today, and I want to thank starting with Rana Elmir, the ACLU, Chief Haddad, Dr. Hazari, Nada Al-Hanooti, and definitely Amir Zahar want to thank you for taking the time to be with us and listening to us. Don't forget to vote. I don't care who you vote for. I don't care who's going to win. You guys exercise your right, vote, select the right person. Thank you, Mike, for a great production. And don't forget, this is still a great time to buy and sell homes. The real estate market is unbelievable. Give me a call if you need help. 313-819-0101. 313-819-0101. Good night, everybody. Have a safe Halloween and safe weekend. Good night. Thank you so much for being with us. Bye now.